critiques of the Rwanda plan don't actually have any solutions, do they?
Well, I think that's one of the main problems, Patrick. I'll admit that the UK-Rwanda migration partnership, it is a radical course of action and it has come in for criticism. But many of the people criticising the plan, they're unable to provide what I would consider to be security-oriented, pro-cohesion alternatives of their own. And I think that's a very serious problem, and it really weakens the quality of the debate that we're having. Within that subset, you also have people who I would say they've gone on the verge of vilifying Rwanda, if truth be told, and I don't think that's the right way to treat a relatively new member of the Commonwealth since the 1994 civil war, which descended into full-blown genocide. Rwanda has made considerable socioeconomic and socio-political progress.
Yeah, OK. I mean, obviously, I'm going to move on to what Rwanda's like as a nation in a second, but just focusing for now on our nation. And one thing that seems to annoy me and annoy a lot of people is this idea that the government can introduce some form of policy that they've clearly scratched their heads over for years, that the vast majority of people, it passes the pub test, Rakib, I tell you that much, it passes the pub test. You go into any pub up and down the country right now and there'll be people sitting there saying, I hope this thing works, apart from maybe a couple of pubs around the Islington area, for example. Yet despite that, we have mob rule, people blocking immigration vans, people banging their drums outside court. Now, some would say, look, we live in a democratic country where we have freedom of expression and the right to protest, and that's all gravy. But what people actually want is to subvert the law, don't they?
Well, I think there's a difference between having the right to protest and then thwarting these these forms of illegal immigration. I think that one thing that's very clear is that we continue to have a dysfunctional border security system, in my view. And if we are looking to clamp down on people smuggling enterprises, then the authorities have to be able to do that. And I think the scenes that you showed there, what you're seeing there isn't the right to protest. That's just a fundamental disrespect for authority. And that in itself should not be allowed in a functioning liberal democracy.
No, look, I agree with you personally, and I think it's, I don't think the police have got enough stick for this, frankly, OK? I understand that, OK, people can disagree with the government's laws or whatever, but the police were there to enforce that law, and if it works any other way, if I get done for massive tax fraud, right, and someone thinks, oh, don't do that because I don't want him to get done for that, they'd still prosecute me. I think they're too afraid of being called racist, Rakib.
Well, I think there is a possibility that many of our police forces have been paralysed by the forces of political correctness and identity politics, if truth be told. I think that there's a growing perception that the police is failing to really fulfil its bread and butter responsibilities when it comes to those kind of events. So I think that it's really important that the police in that kind of situation, they take more robust action. Otherwise, public confidence in police forces will only further reduce.